I'm Stephanie from Back to the Passport. Today, I'm sharing our video diary, or vlog, of our recent trip to London. Rick and I were last in London 5 years ago, and we were so excited to be back. Though Rick has never experienced the rainy, foggy version of London, as both times we've been there together, London was going through some heat waves. It was boiling. I swear, Rick enacts heat waves in England, as the other times I've gone, it was rainy and cloudy and what you expect of London. Even though the weather wasn't the typical London weather, we still had a wonderful time. Sadly, this last time, we only had one full day in London and an evening, but we were going to make the most of it. We were back in London on a guided tour with Go Ahead, and we traveled through England, Scotland, Wales, and Ireland. We arrived in London on a Tuesday via the Eurostar from Paris. We took the tube over to Kensington, where our hotel was, and freshened up after our train rides and carting our luggage around. This was the day where we met our fellow travelers and got to know them at a welcome dinner at the King's Head. Rick and I both ordered some London Pride beer and then had some steak pies for dinner, followed by a tasty brownie with salted caramel ice cream. Afterward, many of the others called it an early night as it was their first day in the city and they were jet-lagged. So Rick and I went and got some more drinks at the Devonshire Arms. We sat out on the patio, and they had the QR code so we could order our drinks right at the table. On Wednesday, we had our guided tour of the city. We got on our coach and drove around London before being dropped off at Westminster Abbey and starting the walking portion of our city tour. We stayed long enough to hear Big Ben before making our way to Buckingham Palace to watch the changing of the guard. Our tour guide took us to a great spot to watch the guards pass by instead of trying to crowd around the gates, so we got an up-close and personal experience of the guards heading toward the palace. Then we followed them and watched the ceremony at the palace from afar. Afterward, the group split up as some had booked the excursion to Hampton Court Palace, but Rick and I decided to do our own thing. We collected our stuff from the bus and made our way toward a pub for lunch of fish and chips and beer while we planned the rest of our day. We had seen posters for the Back to the Future, the musical show, while on the tube, and then passed the theater on our guided tour that morning, and found that there were tickets available for that night. We had originally planned to do a Jack the Ripper tour, but we can do that anytime we return to London, so we canceled our tour and booked tickets for the show. I mean, our blog's name is in honor of that amazing trilogy. We had to go. But we had some time to kill between lunch and our show, and I've always wanted to visit the Shard and saw some spots open for afternoon tea. So we booked a tea time for 2 hours later. We then rushed back to our hotel to change for the evening and grab our portable chargers and anything we needed for the night. We then hopped back on the tube to the Shard for our afternoon tea at Aqua Shard. They had a Peter Pan themed set menu, and it was fabulous. We both added a glass of sparkling rosé to our order to get things off right.
Are you ready?
We are ready.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Ooh!
Enjoy.
Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My favorite savory item was the sausage roll, though the cucumber sandwich was also very tasty. The desserts were delicious, and we had a chocolate cake, a raspberry mousse, and a shortbread cookie, a coconut cake, and super yummy scones. I honestly think the scones might have been my favorite. After our tea, we walked across the Tower Bridge, where I snapped approximately 100 photos, and then we stopped at a magic shop that Rick likes. Then we strolled through London back to the theater district to see the show. The Back to the Future, the musical, was an amazing performance, and they adapted it to the stage so well. I'm so glad we skipped our Jack the Ripper tour to see the show, as it doesn't look like it's coming to Denver anytime soon. It truly was a fabulous performance for us Back to the Future nerds, and the special effects were mind-blowing. There were a few changes to the story, but Rick and I both agreed that they still work within the movie's original canon and made sense as to why they were changed. Afterward, we hopped back on the tube back to Kensington as we had to pack up for our train ride to Scotland the next morning. Our time in London may have been short, but we're pleased with what we were able to do in a day, and we'll call it a quarter. We know this won't be our last time in London, and we loved Edinburgh so much, I could easily see us returning to do a London and Edinburgh trip in a couple of years. Please let us know what else we should add to our London itinerary next time we go. On our last trip, we did an afternoon tea on a double-decker bus, and I have to admit, it was super fun. Touristy, but so fun. If you have some off-the-beaten-path activities we need to do in London, please leave your suggestions in the comments below. Thanks for watching our London vlog, and be sure to check out our blog at backtothepassport.com for more travel content. Ciao!